Damn it!
Sturm is arguably the most twisted and insane creation of Karl Heisenburg's that Ethan Winters will encounter during the events of the game Resident Evil 8 Village. A disturbing meshing of human and machine, Sturm, like its Soldat brethren, was made by Heisenburg in an attempt to create powerful followers that would help him in his plans to overthrow his Mother Miranda. However, while Heisenburg managed to control the Soldats after several augmentations, Sturm was deemed by its creator as impossible to control.
Do you have any idea how powerful that kid is? Even Miranda's scared of her. Last time, you freak, I swear to God!
The story of Sturm as we know it begins with his creator Karl Heisenburg and his desire to overthrow the most prominent figure in the region where he grew up, Mother Miranda. When Heisenburg was just a young child, like many others from the village, he would be abducted by the religious leader and forced into experiments with a parasite which Miranda called a cadeau. Luckily for Heisenburg, however, unlike most of the other test subjects, his body bonded with the parasitic organism, and because of that success, Miranda would take him on as her child. But despite the incredible powers that he received as a result of the experiments, Heisenburg resented his new mother. And as he got older, he would begin making plans to get his revenge for the indignities of using him as her own personal guinea pig. In the depths of his factory, Heisenburg would get to work creating all manner of disturbing human-machine hybrids to aid him in his conquests. Miranda had an entire Lycan army at her disposal. And so, to have any hope in his efforts, he would need to create an army of his own. Heisenburg's first experiments were rather simplistic. He would rob the graves of the village for bodies, and with the help of Miranda's own cadeau, would reanimate the corpses using the parasite and a series of electric shocks. And while these initial creations were quite weak, as time went on and Heisenburg tinkered with his formula, his army of Soldats would become much more formidable. However, among the ranks of his Soldat army, there was one experiment that reigned supreme. One experiment that, while Heisenburg deemed a failure, yielded a foe stronger and more resilient than any other. And it would be from this experiment that Sturm was born. Using a cheap turboprop engine, a turbine engine which drives an aircraft propeller, as well as the body of a man from the village, Heisenburg would create this wicked monstrosity. He would attach the engine onto the head and upper torso of the man, affixing chainsaw blades to the propeller for an even deadlier effect. And using a cadeau implanted in its back, he would bring his creation all together. But, unfortunately for Heisenburg, despite Sturm's remarkable destructive capabilities, it was all for nothing, as it would become clear that he was just impossible to control. Sturm wouldn't listen to his creator's demands, and was so mentally deficient that he cut off his own arms on the newly added propeller. These faults made Sturm an incredibly powerful, nearly invincible failure. And as such, Heisenburg banished him into the depths of his factory. An unfortunate wrong turn on his journey to creating an all-powerful army for his plans. However, despite the many flaws of this propellered experiment, Sturm wasn't completely worthless. And given the right opportunity, his one-track mind of charging whatever he heard could make him an imposing foe to go up against head-to-head. And as it so happened, the narrow halls and corridors of the factory would make the perfect playground for this impressive failure.